despite the fact that after Khamzat Chimaev's impressive win, despite the fact that he's been calling out the likes of Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal, I think it's unrealistic them fights will ever happen. It's good for clout chasing and it's good for him to bring attention to his name, but realistically, is it likely that them fights will happen? I just don't think it's likely. So from that perspective, I think he needs to look at another opponent that he could potentially fight. And one opponent that I think just fits the bill like a glove is probably the likes of Micheal Chiesa or Neil Magny. Now these are fighters that are within the top 10, but they're not like, for example, they're not like, do you get me? Like, they're not in the top 5, so they still got a name to them. Micheal Chiesa is obviously known for his grappling. So Khamzat Chimaev, who is a talented fighter, who's known just for his wrestling ability, if he can submit him just the way Vicente Luque did in his last fight, it'll be quite an impressive victory on his part. It'll be a good way for him to actually establish himself on the world scene as a legit threat. So yeah, just from my perspective, I think that's a great fight for him. If he can have one more of them fights and then finally cap it off with one more win against the likes of, for example, a top 5 opponent, then I think that will be very, very impressive for his career. So yeah, that's just my opinion. Tell me your opinion. Who do you think Khamzat Chimaev should fight next? I feel like his rise has been very tumultuous. A lot of people have been saying like, nah man, there's no way this guy is there's a lot of people that don't think he's going to reach that level where he's going to get to that point where he might eclipse a lot of fighters. Like, a lot of people are talking about him beating Kamaru Usman right now, and I think that's a bit premature. I think that there's a long way to go for him to fight and beat the likes of Kamaru Usman, but give it 2-3 years and I think he definitely gives him competition. I mean, I feel like his rise is very reminiscent to these top fighters that are just coming up. They're all trying to find their way, and I feel like I think he is definitely one of the biggest star in the UFC at the moment in time, in terms of a rising star, not a champion but a fighter that's coming up. I mean, you got Paddy the Baddie, but I just feel like he just doesn't have the level of he's nowhere near as big as he thinks he is himself. Obviously, you got Jiri Prohaska, who's a very interesting opponent as well, a fighter as well, and I think he does have a marketable thing about him, and he's going to fight for the title soon. I think he's going to fight Glover Teixeira next. But in terms of a prospect coming up, I think he's got everything in terms of like showing who he truly is as a fighter. So yeah, just from that perspective, I think it's interesting to see who he's going to fight next. But I think the best opponent for him is a Micheal Chiesa or a Neil Magny. I just think them two, they're in the top 10, but they're not quite at the top 5. And I just think them two fighting each other makes the most sense. It makes a lot of sense. So yeah, that's my opinion. Tell me your opinion. Who do you think he should fight next? And how do you think Micheal Chiesa and Neil Magny would do against the likes of a Khamzat Chimaev? Do you think they're just going to get destroyed like all the last opponents that Khamzat Chimaev has fought has been destroyed, or do you think they're going to somehow figure this out and somehow upset the uppercut and beat Khamzat Chimaev? I think it's unlikely based on his form right now, but then again, bigger upsets have happened in the world of combat sports. So yeah, that's just my opinion. Tell me your opinion, and like and subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot more content coming your way. Peace out.